The chip inside your computer, right now, follows rules that were written in 1978. That's not a metaphor. The instruction set that tells your processor how to compute, how to move data, how to run every program you've ever used. It was designed in 1978. Revised, extended, expanded over 5 decades. But the same fundamental architecture. In 1993, Intel decided they were done with it. They would build something genuinely new. Better architecture, built for the future, not patched from the past. They spent years developing it. They partnered with one of the largest computer companies in the world. They had $10 billion committed to making it succeed. Their replacement was called Itanium. It launched in 2001. By 2003, it was already losing. By 2021, the last Itanium chip shipped, and the product was quietly discontinued. But here's what makes this story different from a normal failure story. The chip in your computer today doesn't use Intel's 1978 design, it uses a 64-bit upgrade added in 2003. Not by Intel, but by AMD. AMD, their smaller rival, solved the problem Intel was trying to solve. Intel had to adopt AMD's solution. The instruction set on Intel's own chips today was designed by a competitor. Intel tried to escape the architecture they were stuck with, and ended up more stuck with it than ever, just with AMD's name on the extension. To understand why Intel wanted to escape x86, you need to understand what x86 actually is. An instruction set is the language a chip understands. When you tell your computer to open a file or play a video, that command eventually gets translated into specific instructions the chip executes one by one. x86 is the name of that language for most computers. Every Windows program ever written speaks x86. The problem is that x86 was designed in 1978 for hardware that barely resembles what exists today. Over 40 years, engineers kept adding capabilities on top. But they couldn't remove the old ones because millions of programs depended on them. Adding 64-bit capability on top of that complexity seemed like building another floor on a crumbling foundation. Intel's engineers believed the right answer was to start over. Build a genuinely new architecture, clean, designed for 64-bit from the ground up, without 40 years of accumulated baggage. They were right about the problem. They were wrong about what the industry would actually do about it. In 1993, Intel began working with Hewlett-Packard on a completely new chip architecture. The project took 8 years. The chip that emerged was called Itanium. The key idea was elegant. Traditional chips spend enormous energy figuring out, in real time, which operations can happen simultaneously. Itanium moved that work to the compiler, the software that translates your program into chip instructions before it ever runs. If the compiler did the heavy lifting in advance, the chip itself could be simpler and faster. The problem was one number. Itanium ran existing x86 software at 1/8 the speed of an equivalent x86 chip, 8 times slower on code that already existed. To use Itanium properly, you had to rewrite your software from scratch. Your operating system, your applications, your databases. All of it. Intel assumed the industry would do that. The industry looked at the bill and said no. By 2003, Itanium's server sales were less than 9,000 units in a single quarter. The x86 server market was selling millions. There's a detail inside Intel that makes this even more striking. Intel's own engineers had quietly built a 64-bit extension to x86 inside the Pentium 4. A way of adding the capability the industry needed without requiring anyone to rewrite anything. It was working. It was disabled. Disabled because Intel's leadership was afraid it would compete with Itanium. Intel had the compatible solution in their own hands. They turned it off to protect the incompatible one. While Intel was pushing Itanium, AMD was watching. An engineer named Jim Keller wrote a specification for something different, not a replacement for x86, an extension of it. The key insight was simple. Don't ask anyone to change anything they already have. Your existing programs run exactly as before, at full speed. The 64-bit capability is added on top, available for new software when you need it. No rewrites required. AMD called it AMD 64. It launched in 2003. Microsoft announced they would support it in the next version of Windows. Linux supported it. The major application vendors started building 64-bit versions without anyone having to throw away what they already had. When Microsoft chose AMD 64, not Itanium, Intel's position collapsed. Intel did something that had no precedent in the chip industry. They adopted a competitor's specification, added AMD 64 to their own processors, called it EM64T, later renamed to x86-64, and began shipping it in 2004. Itanium continued in a diminished form. By 2008, its biggest remaining customer, HP, was secretly paying Intel $440 million to keep developing it, just to avoid migrating their servers. They paid another $250 million to extend that to 2017. The last Itanium chip shipped in July 2021. Intel was right that x86 needed to evolve, right that 64-bit was necessary, right that the old architecture had accumulated decades of complexity. Where they were wrong was the assumption that the industry would accept incompatibility in exchange for a cleaner design. They had been the only game in town for so long that they forgot the industry's first priority isn't performance. It's not moving backward. Intel's attempt to kill x86 solidified x86. Every developer who had to choose between Itanium and AMD 64 chose AMD 64. The 1978 rules survived, just with AMD's additions baked in. AMD's approach wasn't technically superior to Itanium in any absolute sense. It was strategically superior. They asked developers to do nothing. And when you ask people to do nothing to get something they need, the answer is almost always yes. Subscribe if you want more stories about the gap between technical correctness and market reality.